Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in life we're drawn to people for reasons we can't always explain. A smile, a conversation, or even shared experiences create a bond. But just because someone enters your life doesn't mean they're meant to stay. It's one of life's toughest lessons recognizing when a relationship, no matter how appealing it may seem, isn't aligned with God's plan for you. God has a way of speaking to us that transcends the noise of the world. Often he doesn't use words or dramatic displays. Instead, he communicates through the quiet, persistent feelings within us, feelings that we sometimes overlook or dismiss. Discomfort and unease are among the most profound ways God tries to get our attention. These feelings are not random or insignificant. They are signals, divine nudges meant to steer us back onto the path he has chosen for us. When something isn't right for you, your spirit knows it long before your mind can fully grasp it. That heaviness in your chest, the pit in your stomach, or the restless thoughts that keep you awake at night, those are signs. They are God's way of telling you to pause, reflect, and reconsider. Yet so many of us ignore these feelings, brushing them aside as fleeting emotions or overthinking. We convince ourselves that if we try harder or wait longer, the discomfort will fade. But it doesn't, because it's not meant to. Discomfort isn't there to punish you, it's there to protect you. It's a warning, a safeguard against making decisions that could derail your purpose or lead you away from the blessings God has in store for you. When you feel unease in a relationship, it's not because you're incapable of love or commitment, it's because that connection may not be aligned with God's will for your life. That discomfort is telling you to pay attention, to dig deeper, and to ask yourself whether this path is truly the one God wants you to take. It's easy to mistake discomfort for fear or insecurity, but they are not the same. Fear often arises from our own doubts, while discomfort is a spiritual signal that something isn't sitting right in your soul. It's the kind of feeling that doesn't go away no matter how much you rationalize or try to ignore it. It stays with you, gnawing at the edges of your peace until you're willing to face it. God uses discomfort to guide us because he knows we don't always listen to words or logic. Sometimes it takes that inner unease to make us stop and question what we're doing. It's his way of slowing us down, of pulling us back before we go too far down a road that isn't meant for us. And the more we ignore it, the louder it gets. That's not because God is angry with us. It's because he loves us too much to let us settle for anything less than what he has planned. When you feel discomfort or unease, don't dismiss it. Don't run from it. Instead, lean into it. Pray about it. Ask God to show you what he wants you to see. That feeling isn't there to harm you, it's there to help you. It's a call to realign yourself with his purpose, to trust in his timing, and to have faith that he knows what's best for you, even when you don't understand it yet. Listen to the discomfort as God speaking to your soul. Challenges and roadblocks in life are not always signs of failure or defeat. Sometimes they are divine interventions, God's way of redirecting us, protecting us, or teaching us lessons we might not otherwise learn. When a door closes unexpectedly, or a path you were so certain of suddenly becomes difficult to navigate, it's not always a punishment or a setback. It's often a sign that God is intervening for a reason greater than you can see at the moment. You may find yourself wondering why things aren't going according to your plans, especially when you've worked so hard and done everything right. It's frustrating, even painful, to feel blocked when you thought you were moving in the right direction. But remember this, God's plan is always greater than ours. He sees the dangers, distractions, and dead ends ahead that you cannot. What feels like an obstacle to you may be his protection or redirection, keeping you from something that could harm you or lead you away from your purpose. When you encounter roadblocks in a relationship, for example, it's easy to focus on the frustration of things not working out. You might think that with enough effort or patience, you can push through and make it work. But have you ever stopped to consider that God might be the one placing those challenges in your path? He knows the outcome of every relationship, every decision, every step you take. When something repeatedly falls apart or feels like an uphill battle, it may be his way of telling you to let go, to trust him, and to step back. These divine interventions are not meant to harm you, they're meant to prepare you for something better. God doesn't remove people or opportunities from your life without a reason. He may be clearing the way for something greater, something that aligns with his perfect plan for you. But you must be willing to trust him, even when you don't understand why things are happening the way they are. Challenges also serve to build your character. They teach you patience, resilience, and the importance of faith. When things don't go your way, it's an opportunity to lean on God, to seek his guidance, and to grow in your understanding of his purpose for your life. Roadblocks force you to slow down, to reflect, and to pray. They remind you that you're not in control, but that's okay because the one who is in control knows exactly what he's doing. If you find yourself facing repeated challenges in a situation, don't view them as a sign to push harder. Instead, take them as an invitation to seek God's wisdom. Ask him what he's trying to show you. Ask him if the path you're on is truly the one he wants for you. Divine interventions are acts of love, not punishment. They're reminders that God is actively involved in your life, working behind the scenes to guide you toward the blessings he has prepared for you. So the next time you encounter a challenge or a roadblock, don't be discouraged. Instead, take a step back and look at it through the lens of faith. Trust that even in the delays, the detours, and the difficulties, God is at work, leading you exactly where you're meant to be. True love is more than an emotional connection or fleeting infatuation. It is a partnership that reflects the essence of faith, the pursuit of purpose, and the ongoing journey of self-growth. When love aligns with these principles, it becomes something divine, a connection that uplifts both individuals and serves as a reflection of God's plan for their lives. True love doesn't compete with your faith or distract you from your purpose. Instead, it complements and enhances these aspects of your life. Faith is the cornerstone of a meaningful relationship. In true love, both individuals share a commitment to something greater than themselves. This doesn't mean that both must be perfect in their faith journey, but there is a mutual respect and understanding that God's guidance is at the center of their lives. True love strengthens your relationship with God because it creates a space where faith is nurtured. A person who is meant for you will encourage you to pray, to grow spiritually, and to trust in God's plan, even when times are tough. Purpose is another critical element. Each of us has been created with a unique calling, and true love aligns with that calling. When you are with the right person, they don't pull you away from your dreams or diminish your goals. Instead, they push you to reach higher, to believe in yourself, and to pursue the path that God has laid out for you. True love is not about losing yourself in someone else. It's about finding someone who helps you become the person you were always meant to be. Self-growth is perhaps the most tangible evidence of love that aligns with God's will. A healthy relationship challenges you to grow, to confront your flaws, and to strive for better. True love doesn't settle for mediocrity, it inspires greatness. This doesn't mean it's always easy. Growth often comes with uncomfortable truths and hard conversations. But when love is rooted in faith and purpose, it creates a safe space for vulnerability and transformation. A relationship that lacks these elements might feel good for a moment, but over time it becomes clear that it's not fulfilling. If your faith is compromised, your purpose is ignored, or your growth is stifled, that is a clear sign that the relationship isn't aligned with God's plan. True love doesn't make you choose between your faith and your partner, between your purpose and their desires, or between staying stagnant and becoming the person you are meant to be. When love aligns with faith, purpose, and self-growth, it becomes a source of peace and joy. It brings clarity instead of confusion, encouragement instead of doubt, and support instead of resistance. It's not perfect, but it's powerful. It's not without challenges, but it's worth the effort. True love reflects God's love for us, steadfast, uplifting, and transformative. When you find that kind of love, hold on to it. If you're waiting for it, trust that it will come. And if you're unsure whether you found it, look at how it aligns with your faith, your purpose, and your growth. The answers will become clear. Our internal feelings often carry the weight of divine messages, yet they are frequently overlooked in favor of external signs. We tend to look outward for confirmation, searching for tangible evidence to validate what we already sense deep within. However, the truth is that our internal feelings are just as significant, sometimes even more so, because they are the whispers of our soul, the quiet nudges from God that guide us toward or away from certain paths. When something is truly right for you, it resonates within. There's a sense of peace and unexplainable calm that settles over you. Conversely, when something is not meant for you, your inner world often reflects it with feelings of unease, anxiety, or discomfort. These feelings are not random or coincidental. They are a profound part of how God communicates with us. He has placed His Spirit within us, and that Spirit speaks through our emotions and instincts, guiding us toward His purpose. Yet, many of us are quick to dismiss these feelings. We convince ourselves that we're overthinking or being too sensitive. We ignore the inner tension and focus solely on the external signs, waiting for something dramatic or undeniable to occur. But God's messages aren't always loud or obvious. Sometimes they come as a quiet discontent, a persistent unease that you just can't shake. It's in those moments that we must learn to trust our internal compass, the feelings that align with our spiritual intuition. This isn't to say that every internal feeling should dictate your actions. Emotions can be fleeting and influenced by fear or past experiences. That's why discernment is so important. Take the time to sit with your feelings, to pray, and to seek clarity. Ask God to reveal whether these feelings are from Him or simply a reflection of your own insecurities. More often than not, when the feelings persist and align with what you know to be true in your faith, they are a signal worth paying attention to. Consider how internal feelings often precede external signs. Long before a situation falls apart or a relationship shows visible cracks, your spirit already senses that something isn't right. You might feel a heaviness when you're with someone who isn't meant for you, or a lack of joy in pursuing a path that isn't aligned with your purpose. These feelings are God's way of giving you a head start, of urging you to make a change before the external signs become undeniable. Ignoring your internal feelings can lead to unnecessary pain and prolonged struggles. It's like trying to swim against the current. You expend so much energy resisting what your soul already knows. But when you choose to listen, to honor those feelings, you find that God's plan begins to unfold with greater ease. He doesn't want you to wait for external circumstances to confirm what He's already placed in your heart. Trusting your internal feelings is an act of faith, a way of saying, God, I believe in the guidance you've given me, even when I can't see the full picture. Your internal world is a powerful tool in discerning God's will. It's not separate from the external signs, but works in harmony with them. When both your inner feelings and the external circumstances align, the message becomes undeniable. Until then, don't dismiss the quiet voice inside you. It's just as significant because it's often where God speaks first. Letting go is often one of the most challenging acts of faith we're called to perform. It can feel like loss, like failure, or even like giving up. But in God's eyes, letting go is never about losing. It's about creating space for what's meant to be. It's about surrendering control and trusting that the plans He has for you are far greater than anything you could hold on to with your own strength. Letting go is not a defeat. It's a divine preparation for blessings that are yet to come. When you cling to something that no longer serves your growth or aligns with God's purpose for your life, you're not just holding on to the past, you're preventing the future from unfolding. Imagine trying to carry a heavy bag while reaching for a new gift. You can't grasp what's ahead if your hands are full of what's behind. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't care or that what you had wasn't valuable. It means you trust that God knows what's best for you, even when it's hard to see in the moment. Letting go can feel like a loss because we often tie our identity, our hopes, and our happiness to the things or people we're being asked to release. But God sees what we cannot. He knows the weight that's holding us back, the distractions that are keeping us from our purpose, and the barriers that prevent us from receiving His blessings. When He asks you to let go, it's not to punish you or take something away, it's to prepare you for something better, something that aligns with His perfect will for your life. Think about how a gardener prunes a plant. At first, it may look like the plant is being damaged with pieces cut away and removed. But the pruning process is essential for growth. By cutting away what no longer serves the plant, the gardener allows it to flourish, to grow stronger, and to bear more fruit. In the same way, God may remove certain people, opportunities, or circumstances from your life not to harm you, but to prepare you for the next season of abundance. It's natural to grieve when you let go. God understands your pain and meets you in your sorrow. But He also asks you to trust Him, to believe that his plans are for your good and not for your harm. The act of letting go is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of faith. It's an acknowledgement that you believe in the blessings he has in store for you, even if you can't see them yet. Often, it's only after we let go that we can look back and see how God was working all along. The things we thought we needed, the relationships we thought would last forever, or the opportunities we fought so hard to keep, they were never the final destination. They were stepping stones, lessons, or temporary assignments designed to prepare us for what's ahead. Letting go is not the end, it's the beginning. It's an act of trust, a declaration that you're ready for what God has next. So don't fear the letting go. Embrace it as a sacred process of preparation, knowing that the blessings waiting on the other side are worth every moment of surrender. Trusting God is one of the most profound acts of faith, but it's also one of the hardest. It requires courage to step into the unknown, to let go of control, and to surrender your plans in favor of God's will. Trusting God isn't about having all the answers or understanding every step of the journey. It's about believing that he does. It's about acknowledging that his perspective is infinitely greater than ours and that his plans are designed for our ultimate good, even when the path seems unclear or challenging. Courage is at the heart of trusting God because it often means stepping into uncertainty. It means taking a leap of faith without knowing where you'll land. It's easy to trust when everything is going well, but real courage is tested when life feels chaotic or when prayers seem unanswered. In those moments, trusting God means standing firm, even when fear tries to creep in. It's a decision to say, God, I may not see the way, but I trust that you do. I may feel afraid, but I know you are with me. Surrender, on the other hand, is the act of releasing your grip on what you think should happen. It's letting go of the need to control every detail and instead allowing God to guide your steps. Surrender isn't passive, it's an active choice to align your will with his. It's saying, not my will, but yours be done, and truly meaning it. This kind of surrender can feel vulnerable because it requires you to relinquish the illusion of control. But in that vulnerability, you find strength. You realize that God's power is made perfect in your weakness, and his wisdom far exceeds your own. Trusting God doesn't mean you'll never doubt or struggle. It doesn't mean the road will always be easy or that the answers will come immediately. What it does mean is that you choose faith over fear, even when the future is uncertain. It's an ongoing process, a daily decision to place your trust in the one who holds the universe in his hands. And while the journey may not always make sense in the moment, God's faithfulness never fails. There's a peace that comes with trusting God, a peace that surpasses all understanding. When you trust him, you're no longer weighed down by the need to figure everything out on your own. You're free from the constant worry of trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, you rest in the assurance that God is in control and that he loves you deeply. That kind of peace doesn't come from the absence of challenges, it comes from the presence of God in the midst of them. Ultimately, trusting God requires courage because it challenges you to step beyond your comfort zone, and it requires surrender because it asks you to let go of your plans. Together, these acts of faith open the door to a deeper relationship with God, one where you walk not by sight, but by faith. And in that faith, you discover that God is always faithful, always good, and always working things together for your good. A trusting God is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing journey that requires courage, surrender, and unwavering faith. It challenges us to step out of our comfort zones, to relinquish control, and to trust that God's plan for our lives is far greater than anything we could ever envision. Letting go of what no longer serves us, trusting our internal feelings, and recognizing that challenges are often divine interventions. These are all part of the beautiful process that shapes our path. In every season of life, God is guiding us even when the road is uncertain or the destination is unclear. He communicates with us through our inner peace, through discomfort, and through the subtle signs that we may overlook. As we let go of our own plans and surrender to his will, we open ourselves up to a future filled with blessings, growth, and fulfillment. Trusting God requires vulnerability, but it's in that vulnerability that we experience the fullness of his love and the assurance of his faithfulness. So no matter where you are today, no matter what challenges you face, remember that God is with you, guiding you and preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. Embrace the journey, trust his timing, and walk boldly in the faith that he is always with you, always for you, and always guiding you toward the abundant life he has promised.